live and do the countdown.
There you go. My bad. My computer wouldn't pick up the mic and shit. It was an ordeal.
Well, it is what it is. I've been there, so that's all right. Let's see how many of these people come in to see us today. Man, it's funny because I know both of us are on the in-home team, right? I mean, sorry, the virtual team. I don't know why I can't hear you, but anyway, no, it's me though. It's not you. It's not you. I muted you, so I understand why I can't hear you. Right now, you've been having a good week so far, my man.
Dude, it's been a blessing, man. I'm excited.
Well, hey, we're still above ground, so it's always a good day. Above ground. Have no clue what it's going to be like below ground, but look, I'm not there yet. Not looking forward to it. So let's keep this thing pushing and keep moving. Lions, not sheep. That's what I'm talking about. Lions,
That's right,
not
bro.
sheep.
So we believe in free advertising over here right now.
Come on now.
So lions, not sheep. It's just a concept all about adding value
Mm-hmm.
and into people's lives, and that we have a lion in us, man. Like, you want to be a sheep, you want to be a lion. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. So, and that's all. It's all about mindset. And
Absolutely.
mindset, dude, is has so much to do with being in the life insurance business, right?
Gotta be.
So I've been, I know we've talked about 75 hard the last couple weeks, and obviously I think we're both going strong.
Yeah.
What was that, day 10 or 11 or whatever it was just yesterday? A lot of 75 hard is mindset, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not. Once I broke it down, you're not doing a whole lot, right?
No.
Every day, like every day, you're drinking a gallon of water. You're doing 2 workouts. I mean, if you total the workouts, an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
It ain't hard.
That ain't nothing.
It's just making time. You got to take a picture, which sounds silly, but it's all about accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You got to follow your diet, man, and really, you got to read your book, obviously. But outside
Yeah.
of those 5 things, there's nothing else you really got to do outside of it, right? Obviously, like the no drinking thing's easy if you just put your mind to it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, bro, mindset, lion, not sheep. So, Earl, man, what do we got on the docket today?
Man, this whole thing, people, I think right now, especially from last year, the whole industry, insurance industry, is going through this thing where people are trying to go more virtual than in home, right?
Yeah,
And I've done this thing. I remember, and COVID kind of changed the game for everybody at that point. But it showed us that there was something we can do. Even in the midst of all that trouble, you can still pick up a phone and you can actually still make a sale on that. And people have gotten so good at it. And I talk to life insurance just like you do about this every single day. I mean, I know you've got your group that you do on Zoom. You guys got to check out that link in the description as well for Gerry's Zoom link to get on and see how these folks are actually doing it. Just hop on. But the whole concept, and I've shared with people that, just a strategy between going in home and being virtual, it's almost there's no comparison. Because if you only do in home, right? you're limited. You're limited on time. You're limited on basically how many clients you can go after because most agents, I mean, back when I was doing it, we tried to keep it within like a 50 degree radius of where we live, right? It's kind of like that unless you took travel trips, and did that insane thing as well. But there's no comparison to how many appointments I can take doing virtual as compared to someone that is doing in home. One, if you're doing in home, well, you're limited again to your area, whereas I'm doing virtual, I can have the whole freaking country. I can be licensed in the whole freaking country, sit right here, make my dials, or hop on Zoom and sell. There seems to be this big gap, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, Gerry, but there seems to be this big gap where people think it is such a hard transition to go from in-home to actually doing the virtual thing. Now, I know any change is kind of scary, right? Especially if you've been used to doing something the whole time. But you've seen many people like even come into our program at AJC, they were doing in home. And then one of the things we say, look, we don't teach in home. It's not even what we teach. It's the virtual thing. But there are still agents out there, and I hear it almost every day. Well, I feel like I do a lot better in person, which may be true. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, man, do what you do. But if you kind of want to expand on what it is that you're doing, because if we take out the same day and we start both of us have an appointment at 9:00, right? You and I, you're doing virtual, I'm in home. You do an appointment at 9:00, I do an appointment at 9:00, and we both shut that down. We make that sale or don't make that sale by 9:30. Let's just give it 30 minutes for a call. I know it could be 45 from now, but I'm just going to use simple numbers, right? So 30 minutes, both of us are ending our appointment. Guess what? You've got another 30 minutes to probably drive to get to your next one. All I'm doing is dialing another number. And by the time you get to your next one, I've already made another sale. Now you're just starting. And I'm on my third call, right? It's like, and so you see how virtual you can blast away. You can do so many more appointments virtually over the phone or on Zoom than I can do driving from appointment to appointment. And then there's the other thing, Gerry. If someone no-shows me, I just drove a half hour or an hour to get to them. But if someone don't answer the phone, guess what? I can just dial another number.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. So I've lived both lives. Okay.
Yeah.
So I started in this business part-time. I like to say, and several folks say, belly to belly, right? In home.
Yep. Belly to belly.
In fact, when COVID came about, obviously the world changed and blah, 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 but I was in home, bro. Like, and people were like, oh, I don't, people are like, well, people are not going to want you to go to the house. I'm like, dude, people have friends and family that are dying every day and still have to go get GoFundMe. So that shit is real, bro. Is real, right? So I mean, they stopped forgetting about. I mean, death was in people's minds was at an all-time high, and it still is in a way, and it should always be because it's a reality. Now, you shouldn't fear death. I mean, that's up to you and your beliefs, but being in home to me as a beginner was really, really, really beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Because I learned my drive time allowed me to reset my mind. My drive time allowed me. It's how you use your drive time, right? It's car university, as some people say.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. So it's how you use your time. But most people feel, and for your average agent and your average person, you can control the conversation a lot more in home. Okay. So if you're an agent out there right now and all you're doing is in home, hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Is it a dying art? Probably, because more and more people are more and more cautious. More and more people don't want you to come to their house. Right. They're doing more and more things via technology. I mean, we got, you don't have to go to see the doctor. You could do a virtual meeting now with the doctor.
Yeah. I've done a bunch of those.
So yeah, everything is changing. So we do have to adapt to the change. It's not uncommon for somebody to get you on a phone call and you share a lot of personal information with them, right? It's just not. So I think people's fear is okay. Let me speak from my experience. Okay, so I went into it. I was buying a bunch of leads, and I was buying a bunch of volume leads, as I call them, or internet leads, right? And I was having success, but then I would, drive 40, 50 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was. And I would meet with the family and really get to know their situation and almost become attached to them, right? In a way,
Mm-hmm.
that was a flaw for me. And they would either buy or not buy, or and then somebody else, right, would buy that same lead for
Yeah.
now being an older lead, same information. Even you could
Mm-hmm.
close it, you could do whatever you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would buy the same lead, go there, offer them a different product that it really wasn't better. Um, it may have been overpriced, or it may have been underpriced, or it may have been when I first started and I still didn't know everything. I was just doing what people told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So as you get older, wiser, and more experienced in the business, you understand which products and stuff. So that's a whole other conversation. But um, about 7, 8 months ago, has it been that long? Whatever. 6, 7, 8 months ago, I really had a come to Jesus conversation with myself. And you know what's
Mm.
funny? Or I was doing 75 hard at the time.
Okay.
So my brain was all about like, what's gonna like think about this new idea, think about what's gonna change your mind, think about your mindset, like all these things. And that's when I said, hey, what I'm doing is insane.
Mm.
Right? It's insane. So I'm doing the same thing, and I was getting really frustrated. Like I was spending 12, 13, 14 hours a day on the phone. People were telling me, hey, if you dial, 5, 6, 7, 800 people a day, you're going to get your 20, 25 appointments. You're going to be great. And then I'm like, dude, let's do math. Like, I mean, like you fail so much, and mentally it's draining. Right.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So that's when I said, hey, let me start interviewing. And I said this word. Okay. Let me start interviewing other um, opportunities in regards to how can I transform my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a lot of people out there, right? And they pitched their offer to me, and I looked at it and I said, this makes no sense. This is okay. But it wasn't until I spoke and did some research on Arturo that I was like, okay, this guy, he's humble. His group is humble. Like I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me come talk to them. Like they're not promising me the world. They're just saying, hey, this is what we're doing and it's working. And
Yeah.
if and they referred me to a couple people that it was really working for, and I said, okay, let's do it. In fact, last February, one of my good buddies had heard about the program through Kevin Alexander, but
Mm-hmm.
was like, but he didn't really share a ton about it. So I was like, oh, whatever. I just saw Kevin Alexander writing a bunch of IULs. I'm like, oh, it must be one of those IUL things, right? But then I found out what the program was, and I immediately picked up the phone, called Kevin, and I said, hey, what's up? And
Mm-hmm.
he said, hey, well, are you ready to work, or like you want it done for you? I said, no, I'm ready to work. And he said, if you're ready to work, it's gonna work. So I made the switch. And look, let me tell you, I mean, it's a lot different. Everybody, right? Earl,
And now
everybody
you're
would
doing
love
total virtual, right? You're all virtual.
100%,
Yeah. Yeah.
100% virtual, which I had such a limited belief, bro. I didn't think that I could do it.
Really.
Like I said, man, no, I didn't, because I was like, everybody's like, man, you don't control the conversations. People hang up on you. I think why virtual has worked so well for me
Mm-hmm.
is, look, the first 5, 6 weeks were really, really rough,
Oh, then that's like the norm.
bro. Rough.
Yeah. Give
I
yourself.
it,
Yeah.
It was like online. So okay, when I was younger and single, this was forever ago, but online dating was kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
match.com and all these things. And I remember like, hey, you get me in front of a room, I'll be okay. But I remember like my sister and my brother-in-law at the time were like, dude, you should get a match profile. And I'm like, yeah, I should, right? It was one of those nights after a couple adult drinks, right? And I did it. Dude, I froze up. Like I didn't even know what to
Wow.
type. I didn't know what to type, and I'm like, dude, that's not like me. Like, what's wrong with me? So I start overthinking everything,
Yeah.
right? So the one of the reasons that going virtual made sense, and if we go back to the dating world, is hey, do I just want to date in Central Texas where I'm at, or do I want to have a dating
Mm-hmm.
pool all over the United States? Same
There
thing
you
with the
go.
client pool,
Uh-huh.
right? So that's when I opened it up to every state. Now I'm licensed in practically every state. If not, I'm missing two, I think. And I've learned a lot about I've just really become a student of the game. Now it doesn't mean I'm
Yeah.
perfect, but a lot of the guys and gals that we have in the AJC Arturo Johnson program are learning, and you could just see their development getting better and
Yeah.
better and better. But it's not the short game, man. It's the long game.
But you know what you're saying, Gerry? Like, here's the thing: we're talking about like in home versus virtual, right? But let's just look at people that are willing to work.
That's it, bro.
You got people willing to work that all they're doing is door knocking and they're winning, right?
Hell yeah.
And that's all they're doing, and they're working it. They figure something out, and they're working it. They're handling the rejection, as well. If you knock on somebody's door, if you knock on my door, I probably won't answer it. But it's like, I'll just look at my ring now. I don't feel like dealing with it.
I mean, you may if I bring over a piece, if I bring over pie and say,
You
hey,
bring
Earl,
over
I got some pie.
look. You got some ribs in your hand, and I can see them. What's this dude about? Oh, well, hold up. Wait a minute.
Hey,
But
look,
I mean,
you
but
gotta be good
whatever.
at the game.
Exactly.
Right? You got to get good at the game. So
Whatever you work, if you work it, it'll work. But now it comes down to the time. It comes down to the money, because either you got time or money in a lot of situations, right? And so door knocking, which kind of, I think some of us make fun of people that door knock. I do. I make fun of people that door knock.
Shit, you know why I don't? Because that is hard.
That's some hard work, and that's courage. That's courage. The only reason
people knock on your door. How many people knock on your door selling you solar or whatever the hell they're selling you?
Yeah, all
every
that.
Week,
Yeah,
every
week. Every week.
What do you do when they come over?
Sometimes because I just feel like playing, I'll talk to them.
Okay,
like I feel like seeing their skills, their sales ability. Like, what are they going to do? Yeah, so I talk to them, and then like I can remember this one instance. This just happened last summer. I'm sitting there. It's like noon. I got my Diet Coke. I got my PB&J, and I have my ramen noodles. And I'm sitting down, and I'm watching Gunsmoke. Right? Doorbell rings. I'm like, all I'm thinking about is what is Matt Dillon fitting to do on Gunsmoke at this point, right? And so I go to the door. I open the door. He's selling ring lights. I mean, the Ring doorbells, right? I wanted one. I didn't have one at the time. I knew that I was going to buy one, but I didn't buy it from him because
why?
I wanted to go watch Gunsmoke.
That was your reasoning?
That was my reason. I wanted to finish go watching Gunsmoke. Also because I knew I could order one on Amazon and go get it. It's like this guy. Now, it probably, let's just be fair, it would have been better if I bought it from him because he would be there to explain it to me, show me how to do what I do. I probably would have had it installed a lot sooner than what I did because I had to do it on my own. So there's a lot of advantages to dealing with a salesperson that's right in front of you or whatever. But I didn't feel like it. And so those are the types of things that we all have to deal with. And I tell people, you don't know what that person is doing on the other side of the phone or on the other side of the door, right? You don't know what's happening, what's going on. And that's why we can't take it personal. When we go through these, because we deal with rejection all day, every day. That's just a fact of what we deal with. But when it comes down to, like, it is a hard thing to door knock. It is a hard thing to go to someone's house that you actually have an appointment with and get porched, like we call it. It's like you set the appointment. Now you're standing on the porch, you're calling them, you hear the phone, you hear their cell phone ringing inside, right? It's like, it's not the phone. That's a cell phone that's ringing. So you know that they're not answering the door. So there's all this mental stuff, but whatever it is that person decides to work and they're dedicated to the work, they're going to get a result from that work. But I believe that virtual is a better place to put all of your efforts because of the time that you get back from doing all the other, basically like running around stuff. Is kind of how I look at it. But if you work it, dude, it's going to work.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. So I want to get back to that ring thing in a minute because you funny, but so look, some of the most successful, and we got to give a shout out here, to Nina and Hayden
Shout out.
Nina and Hayden. We got to give a massive shout out to Josh Williams.
Go ahead, Josh. And
Bo and Sweeney. If you haven't caught those, if you haven't caught those conversations with Arturo, they're on the YouTube page. Check
Powerful.
them out. But bro, so okay, so that whole organization is built
Mm-hmm.
on duplicatability, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and online virtual sales,
Yeah.
right? So, dude, I don't care what anybody says. You can start with no money and be successful in the virtual game. Dude, you know what it takes to be a virtual agent? I'm gonna give you the answer.
Break it down.
I mean, it's just one word, bro, and you're not gonna believe it. Like it takes this. It's so powerful, man. This is all it takes. Okay, it's called confidence. I'm gonna give you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you another word that I like to use. It's called swagger.
Swag. Yeah.
You gotta have some swagger, bro. So what I mean by that is simple. Okay, I've been having a lot of conversations this week, actually, with a lot of folks. We've been doing some coaching,
Yeah.
and most people struggles, whether it's in home, virtual,
Mm-hmm.
phones, product, whatever that may be. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
is the lack of knowledge handicaps them.
You're right.
What I mean by that is, dude, like if you're afraid of a question that a client is going to ask you in a meeting, you should literally for the next you should literally that night study the answer to that question. You should not be fearful of a question a client is going to ask you or an
Mm-hmm.
objection the client is going to give you where you don't already know the answer to that question.
Because if you don't know the answer, you ain't got no confidence in it.
You're dude, bro, like if I ask you something and I said, "Hey, Earl, like, cuz you're a big voiceover guy and I know nothing about it."
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I was like, "Hey, like and I mean you're top notch. You're an expert in that field, but if you weren't such an expert on it, and there was a couple things about maybe technical things that I could ask you, you didn't know the answer and you BS me through it,
Yeah.
yeah, you out, bro."
Out. Out
Right?
cold.
Or you still may sell it, but you're going to feel guilty as hell cuz maybe you didn't give them the right answer.
Yep.
And now you're like, "Oh, crap. Dude, we've all done that, okay? When we all started, at some point, we read a product guide or something, and we made a comment that we thought that the product would cover something, but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was on a Zoom call, I don't know, about a year ago, and this Hall of Fame producer was on there, and he was doing virtual sales, and mostly it was live transfers. And let's talk about live transfers in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do want to talk about that, but um, he was on a live transfer, and I heard him offer this product to this lady, Hall of Fame producer. Okay, offer this product to this lady, and he added something about living benefits that is nowhere in that product.
Oh wow.
And I know that because I read the damn product guide, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did product videos, right? I've literally interviewed some people, so some of the reps. So after the call, I messaged him privately and I said, "Hey, you know that product doesn't offer that." He goes, "What do you mean? I've been told that my whole career." And I'm like, "Dude, you got to take
Mm.
ownership. You're a Hall of Fame producer.
Wow. Yeah.
You got to take ownership and stop, telling people whether you know it or not. It's still a lie." Okay, so, but dude, it comes back to swagger and confidence, right? So, um, I am that's where my game changed. And look, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate because I think both ways are great. Now, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% virtual now. Now, if a client here in my town in Austin, Texas, calls me, I'm probably gonna go see him. Right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. That
there's
makes
no
sense. That makes
there's no
sense.
probably. I'm gonna go see him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting a lot of referrals lately. It's been pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Out of left field, people are referring people, but and obviously it's part of the sales process.
Yeah.
But so I'm still gonna go see some folks, right? And I'm not afraid of that. But I can't just get in my car and go see, the client I saw yesterday in West Virginia.
Right.
Or, I definitely can't go see the people in Hawaii as much as I want to. Trust me, I would love to. But I have clients, so like that's the thing, bro. So now let's talk about something that can gateway you into telesales, but it could be tricky, and that's live transfers. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know how much people are willing to pay for the live transfers, bro?
What, 75, $80?
Bro, it's a bidding system.
Get out.
Yes, a lot of these companies have a bidding system. So in the bigger states, right? Maybe Earl
Wow.
has a bidding system that maybe he's willing to bid up to 75. Well, dude, I just beat him. I just go 85. So I'll get more calls than Earl because at the end of the day, the company that's transferring is going to make more money from
Make
me than
more
from Earl.
money.
Now
Exactly.
they'll probably give me 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So every 3 calls will come to me, 1 to him. Well, they made an extra 30, $40 off of me. Okay. So it's a bidding system.
Yeah, it's a
Now
business
they're
model.
not, yeah, they're not shy to tell you that. I mean, most companies are good. Now, why people love live transfers is because they love the concept just as much as they love the idea of telesales, of sitting their butt at home
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
getting a call of somebody that wants insurance. Well, when you run the numbers, okay, the only way you can run a business is to stay in business. Right? I mean,
You
like
got
you
to make
can't be a business
sales.
model, you can't be a business
You got to make
a
sales.
person and not be in business. So um so at the end of the day, right? I tried that, dude. I was like, dude, live transfers are the answer. $1,000 in, I hadn't sold the damn policy.
Wow.
And it wasn't because the transfers weren't good or whatever. It was because I sucked.
You know, Jerry,
Like
I don't think people want to admit that enough.
I
Like,
sucked.
I suck. It's like people want to blame it on the leads. They want to blame it on so many other things. It's like, but there's other people using the same lead system you're using and they're crushing it. So what is the difference? The only difference is me. The only difference is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And
your
that is
work ethic
always a
in your
defining
mind.
factor. Yeah.
Your work ethic in your mind, dude.
Yeah.
So yes, we can talk. We can do a whole panel on live
Oh
transfers.
my
Most of
gosh.
the time, all a live transfer is, guys. Not everywhere, and there's some exceptions and blah blah blah. But most of the time, all a live transfer is whatever company X you buy live transfer for, have a call center. They're literally calling data leads that are coming in. Okay, from all these, www.com. I need life insurance, whatever.com, whatever the hell that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a million dummy sites like that. They're all landing pages, and a client will click that just like they click on every other lead, right?
Yeah.
And then the whatever this call center says, hey Earl, this is so and so from. Looks like you have some you requested information about life insurance, correct? Hey, let me transfer you over to an agent, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Yes,
they
sir.
verify a couple data points, and then they transfer you. And on the other call, they say, Earl, I have a live transfer from Michigan. It's whatever, Michael Thomas, and the information is being sent to you now. Are you ready for the call? Yep, thank you, bye. And then boom, and then you're like, in your head, you're like, yeah, this is a hot lead.
No.
Well, when you call, you're like, hey Earl, this is Gerry, man. How you doing today? Good. What's going on, man? How can I help you with this life insurance? What made you click on that stuff? Well, the lady called me and said, I requested it, but I don't think I requested it. I don't need no life insurance. And then boom, $85.
Oh, that's not funny. That's not funny.
And you're like,
That's not
damn.
funny.
And you're like, okay, you can't sell every lead. So, but I mean, you run the numbers, right? The numbers will make you profitable if you start getting better, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
if it takes you, let's just make the math simple. Let's say it's $100 per live transfer,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And let's say it takes you 6 live transfers to close one. You're 600 in, but let's say you close one at 80
Mm-hmm.
bucks a month. Now you're
You
at
made your money
900, so
back.
you're
Yeah.
300. Well, as long as that person doesn't charge back, you don't have that big of room there with only a $300, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
profit, only a $300 gain,
Yeah.
because then you got to repump it up, and it's going to take another 600. I mean, so there's only a couple ways that you can get better in that game or with live
Mm-hmm.
transfers, and one of them is, you start closing more deals, right?
You
Obviously,
got to get better at your sales. The only thing you can get better at is on the phone. It's like you've got to get better at that part of sales, whether it's keeping people on the phone or just. I always say, look, you either studied sales or you study sales. It's one or the other. Just because you took a course 2 years ago on sales doesn't mean crap today.
no.
It's like sales is the thing that has to be looked at every single day because you just want to get. I mean, if you just take the 1% better a day rule, right? It's like, how do I get 1% better every day at this one thing? Not 12 things, one thing. Because usually that one thing, if you're not making sales, it means you need sales training. It means you got to get better on the phone. So
Where do you
what
get
are
the
you
training?
doing? Two ways or 3 ways. The best way to get training, like, okay, I'm a coach, right? So if I'm going to help you get better at sales, it's not going to be by you and I hopping on a call and me teaching you sales all the time. These are the different things you need to know and understand about sales. And there's a lot. And it's a lot of mental stuff that you need to get. But also, I have to hear you do a call. The best way to get good at sales is to record your calls. You can come to me as a coach. We can listen to those calls, and I can break down every piece of what it is that you're doing right and the things you need to cut out and the things you should have never done in the first place. The only way to get better is not through, what do you call it, a mock call or whatever.
Role play.
Role play. Yeah, role play isn't real. It's good in certain circumstances, but it's not real because it's not you on the phone with an actual person. That is how you get better. It's the reason why sports teams record every play. It's the reason why they go back and look at, you see how you let that guy get right by you? You can't let that happen again. And then guess what? That player goes out and that never happens again because he was able to see what he did. It's the same thing. This is a sport we're in. And it's sales is literally a sport, and you got to get better and better at it. But you cannot get better and better at it if you don't know what you're doing in the moment. And the only way to know that is to record your call, get with someone that is actually good at coaching and sales that you know is good at sales, and you let them help you through a call, not through something fake, but through something real that can be looked at and adjusted. That's the way. That is literally the number one way to get better at sales.
All right. So, look, I think I'm about to hit you with a YouTube short. So let's cue this up. So I think you're right, and what you're talking about is becoming a student of the game.
Yeah.
So okay. So here are my small unsolicited tips on how you get good at sales. Really, honestly, how you get good at anything. Okay. So one of them is you gotta build a knowledge base. Okay, not just in sales, but in the topic, the thing, right? The guy that came and knocked on your door, you needed a ring. You knew you wanted a ring. And maybe that movie was super important, but if he would have taken 2 seconds to figure out, man, what are you doing right now? Yeah. Oh, dude, I've had a hell of a day, man. Look, Earl, I understand, man. I just came to your door. I know you couldn't see me because you don't have this ring. But
there it is.
Right?
It is.
But I know you couldn't see me because you didn't have the ring camera yet. And I know like most people here want them. I mean, you're going to get one of these from somewhere, right? You're either going to overpay somewhere else or do it here. You might even want to go to Amazon and buy it yourself. Hey, that's not a bad option. But instead of doing that, why don't we schedule a time where I can come back to you and I can show you exactly how the ring camera is going to work to be the best.
He took my objection and didn't push.
Well, because so that guy, guy, whatever. Okay, he lacked knowledge not only in the product and the sales process, but in building rapport with you and understanding.
He didn't ask me any questions.
His biggest knowledge problem was he didn't have a why. Like, why would you want this ring? Okay, so you got to have knowledge. One is you got to be a student of the, or two, you got to be a student of the game. Okay, like you just said. Watch film, all those things. Okay. 4 or 3, my numbers are all messed up. 3, repetition. Repetition makes it better.
Yes, repetition.
But what is the glue? Okay. The only glue to make you good at anything is what? Confidence.
And swag. There it is. What you said before. That
right. So, swag. Bro, I gotta tell you, I'm a guy. Did you ever knock on doors?
Yes, I did.
How long did you knock on doors?
Maybe about 2 weeks.
Okay, that's the problem. So I knocked on doors for months. Okay. So I got to tell you. So I have a new build, right? So we get people to come here left and right, bro.
Okay. Yeah. If you're in a new development, it's over.
So I gotta also tell you, every single person when I'm home, at least, that knocks on the door, I answer and I take time to listen to them. Because I remember how difficult it was mentally to go knock. And I've bought several things from people that knock my door because they're addressing my pain point.
Yeah.
So, like a security system. Well, hey, Vivint's really good at coming knocking on your door and putting that orange sign. By the way, if you're in sales, if you see an orange sign of Vivint in front of somebody, they bought it from somebody knocking on their door. Okay, wow. They're buyers. So that's a free tip for you people that believe in belly to belly all day. So I'm that guy, right? And I've bought a lot of stuff, right? People that just come here, and it's not because I'm like, man, whatever, but it's because sometimes you don't know what you're doing for that individual. by even just listening to their pitch. Right. So that's
Mhm.
why I did it. It's not even to have fun. I'm like, okay, what are you selling me? Like, and solar people left, right. I actually ended up buying solar
Yeah,
recently,
but
but
sometimes too, when I listen to them, I'm also looking to see their sales ability to see if I want to hire them.
well, you should, but you
That's
should
the thing
also
too.
see if you can help coach them.
True. Oh, and I do sometimes, definitely. Especially if somebody's on point, I want to give them their kudos. Whatever, whether I buy or not. It's like this one chick on the phone 2 years ago was selling some stuff, and I'm like, "You're really good at this," And I told her, I was like, but because I'm in sales, like you're doing an outstanding job. But I mean, between the whole thing with in-home and with virtual, I think the whole thing about this, no matter what it is that you're doing, if you dedicate to that thing, you're going to kill it. But
Yep.
with virtual sales, I'm just gonna say I think you can kill it more. I don't know.
Hey,
That's kind of the
one
thing.
last quote I want to leave you guys with. My man Alex Harmozy said it, and it's especially when you're in telesales, okay? But even at home, don't trade money for reputation.
Exactly.
Don't trade money. What I mean
Tell the
is don't
truth.
BS
Tell the
people,
truth.
bro.
Tell the truth.
Be ethical. Do the right thing.
Absolutely. All right, folks, look, make sure you check the links in the description of this show because we got some good stuff. We've got a free course over 30 hours that's going to get you going, show you how to build your business from 0 to 100K a month. Also, we've got the link there for Gerry's Zoom sessions that he does every single day. Make sure you log in today. See how the pros are doing it. But thank you for watching this episode of Seven Figure Agent, the Seven Figure Agent podcast with myself, Earl Hall, and Gerry Ruffino. We're here every Thursday live, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you on the next show. Take care now.